Hello everyone. Welcome to the WSO2 API Manager Community Call 30th session. Thank you for joining in. I'm Hasunie Adikari, Associate Technical Lead at WSO2 API Manager team. Before we move on to the today's agenda, I would like to give a quick recap on the last session. There we discuss SSO2 WSO2 API Manager using an external IDP and why you need to configure SSO and when do you configure external IDP. And also discuss required configuration as well. Finally, we had a demonstration session on these areas. Let's move on to the today's agenda. Today's main topic is about Git Integration Support for the API controller. Under the main topic, we will be discussing what is CICD and why do we need CICD in API management arena. Then we will give a brief description of the WSO2 API controller. After that, we will be move on to the demonstration session about the Git integration support. Finally, we have to open up the discussion to everyone of the call to basically to ask any questions that you guys might be having. Okay, we will make an open discussion. Okay, let's get started. What is CICD? The CI in CICD always refers to continuous integration. Successful CI means new code changes to an application are regularly built, tested, and merged to a shared repository. Actually, it's a solution to the problem of having too many branches of an application in development at once, because that might be conflict with each other. The CD in CICD refers to continuous delivery or and continuous deployment. Actually, the continuous delivery usually means developer changes are automatically bug tested and uploaded to a repository like GitHub. Then they can be deployed to a live production environment by the operations team. Continuous deployment, when it comes to continuous deployment, it means automatically releasing the developers changes from the repository to the production where it is usable by customers. So, taken together, these connected practices are referred to as a CI/CD pipeline. Then we discuss why CI/CD. Let's see why CI/CD in API management is important. Actually, in modern application development, the goal is to have multiple developers working simultaneously on different feature of same application. However, if an organization is set up to merge all source code together on one day, the resulting work can be time intensive. one of the most important business benefit of CI/CD is that it improves overall code quality. Since code is released in a small batches, it is possible to test it thoroughly, actually defecting and fixing the serious bugs before software is deployed to production environment. And also, if the code changes are small, you can release software build faster on demand. This improves flexible and ability to ship new features. And also, automation is one of the most important reason to implement a CI/CD pipeline. Actually, build automation and automation testing and deployment not only make the life of DevOps team easier, but also automated actions are easier to manage and less susceptible to human errors. And other great benefit is the instant feedback you get about your code and new build. Integrating new code can cause problems in development teams and also within operation teams as well. In the technical world, we mentioned that kind of mess. There's a term called integration hell. Now we move on to the WSO2 API controller. If your API Manager platform, if your API Manager platform is WSO2 API Manager, we have a tool called API controller, which help you to implement smooth and very efficient CI/CD pipeline. If we take its features, or it's like a command line tool and written in Go language, and we have provided binaries for all major platforms as well, and also it can be integrated with different build automation tools such as Jenkins, Travis CI, and support creation and first time deployment of APIs, and those API can be deployed to desired environments. Let's move on to the open discussion. Let's move on to the demonstration session. I'm going to demonstrate building a CI/CD pipeline for your APIs using WSO2 API Manager. This is about an example company that has a running business on flight reservation through their website. They are planning to expand their business by exposing API product called flight reservation by combining existing flight data API and customer API. Actually, the company has two environments as shown in here, which are development environment and production environment. API developers will only be doing development tasks in the development environment. They won't be doing any manual thing in prod environment. In order to migrate API and API product to the production environment, they have to use automated pipeline. As the first step, they will be creating APIs and API product via publisher portal. After that, APIs and API product have to be exported from the dev environment. For that, we use WSO2 API controller. Once they exported, those need to be committed to the GitHub repository. After that, CI/CD pipeline will test the API and API product from the GitHub repository and deploy to the production environment. Now I'm going to create a flight data API and customer API in the dev environment. Here I log in from the John user. For the John, he's click on the create new API button, and John already John used existing REST API. He has Swagger definition for the customer data API. Here I give a dev endpoint for the API and provide business plans. And now the customer data API is created successfully, and all the resources are visible here. And now it's ready to publish. According to the use case, John has to create the flight data API as well. He used the flight data Swagger definition for that. And provide the dev endpoint. It also created successfully. We can publish the API. As the next step, now John create API, flight data API and customer API. As a next step, he needs to export that APIs from the dev portal and push into the GitHub. Now I'm going to export flight data API and customer API to the API and push it to the GitHub repository. For exporting the API, for exporting API, as we discussed earlier, we can use API CTL command line tool. Before exporting the APIs, we have to introduce our dev environment to the API CTL tool. So, I'm going to add our dev environment to API CTL. In the command, first we need to provide environment name, API Manager endpoint, and the gateway endpoint. Now you can see our dev env environment is created successfully. Now before exporting, he needs to log into the dev environment. For that, we can use this command. Now, John is successfully logged into the dev environment. Now he can view what are the available APIs in the dev environment. He can see the customer data and flight data is available in the development environment. Now he can export these two APIs one by one. Here I give the environment name, API name, and the version. Now you can see it's exported successfully to this location, API CTL / exported APIs dev environment. Now I am going to export other API on behalf of John. It is also exported successfully. Now, according to our scenario, we export our API successfully. Now we need to push those exported API project to the GitHub repository. I already have created a repository called Command Hub and clone it locally. I will show you the GitHub repository. This is my empty Common Hub GitHub repository. I clone it in locally. This is the Common Hub. Now I am going to, we already have created these custom data API and flight data API projects. Those are zip files. We need to unzip those files and copy it to the Common Hub folder. Now those API projects are copied to the Common Hub repository, Common Hub local folder. Now I'm going to push those projects to the GitHub. These are the exported projects. And for the customer data, there's a twofold. There's a meta information and API params YAML. Inside the meta information, this is the meta information related to the customer data. And this is the Saga definition for the exported API. And also other file is API params YAML file. That file is API specific. That file contains API specific important parameters. We already have add different environment, but in the demonstration we add dev environment. For the dev environment, you can provide endpoint production, endpoint for the production and sandbox. And apart from that, it contains API importing related options, update and preserve provider. Update means API can be updated and override over and over when you import it. The preserve provider means we are instructing the API CTL to preserve the original provider of the API when importing the API. According to our scenario, the John user can create user has to create API product by combining that existing flight data API and customer API. I'm going to create the product. Now I'm going to create the API product. It's called flight reservation. And give the business plans, and through the existing APIs, I choose get customer resources from the customer data and the get bookings. And from the flight data, I choose non-stop tickets and popular routes. And now I'm going to publish the API product. Now he create the API product through the publisher portal. As the next step, he needs to export the API by using the API controller. Now he can list the API product by using this command. Now John can see the flight reservation API product is available in the dev environment. He needs to export that API product. To export the API product, I use this APICTL command. It's exported successfully and store it inside the this location. Now I'm going to unzip that file. Give the full location. Now it's unzipped successfully. Now I can see the flight reservation folder. According to our use case, as the next step, John needs to push that flight reservation projects to the GitHub repository, the same common location. Earlier we push our API flight data and customer data to the common hub. So he needs to push flight reservation API product project to the common hub. Now you can see our two APIs project and flight reservation API product is available in the GitHub repository. As the next step, API CI/CD process should pull those projects from the GitHub repository and should deploy to the production environment. I will show you how to deploy those APIs and API product to the production environment through the API CTL controller. I'm doing this on behalf of John user. Before migrating to the API and API products to the production environment, we need to add our production environment to the API CTL tool. Now he can list and see all the environments. We add prod env. Now John can check whether what are the APIs need to be deployed to the production environment using this command. Before view the available APIs, he need to initialize the VCS. Successfully initialize the GitHub repository. Now he can check whether what are the available APIs and API product to migrate into the production environment. API CTL VCS status -E prod env. Now he can see the customer data, flight data and flight reservation should be migrated to the prod environment. now is going to deploy those APIs and API product through the VCS deploy -e prod env.
Hi, all. Sorry, I think Hasunie is having some issues with her connection. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe one of the other team members can answer.
Or else you can use our Slack channel to ask a question.
I have one question. So far we have seen only the API, right? So what about the configuration when we do the initial configuration of the API manager, right? So that can it be done through CICD?
Hello, sorry for ending up the call because of my connection issue. Can you repeat the questions?
Yeah, so far we've seen the APIs on the CI/CD part, right? So can we do the same thing for the configuration of WSO API Manager? Since I know it's a
Yeah,
one-time activity, right? But still, can we do the CI/CD for the configuration of the API Manager
yeah,
itself?
yeah. You can. Here, I created the API and API product through the publisher portal. As well, there's another method to create API and API product through the API CTL command line tool as well. You can initialize by giving the Swagger file.
Okay. Now, I was talking about the configuration, initial configurations like changing in the deployment.yaml, API
Yeah.
Manager.
I think for the CI/CD pipeline, you don't need to configure deployment toml because when we export in the API or API project, you only need to configure production and sandbox URL from the this configuration file API parameters YAML. I will show you in this is the customer data API project. Once we click on the customer data project, you can see this API params YAML. Through this API params YAML, you can provide your let's see this I add dev environment in here. It called a name dev environment. Under that dev environment, you can provide your endpoints, the production and sandbox endpoints. You don't need to configure it in deployment YAML file. You can put all the API environment related configuration through this API params YAML. Once you exported the as my as my example, you can see you can export the API and API product through the API controller. Once you export the API project through the API controller, you can the API params YAML is created automatically. That file contains all the environment related configurations.
Yeah. Hope you can hear me. So there is another question. How about integration API controller with GitLab? It should be possible because GitLab and GitHub both are using the same Git protocol. So actually, the API controller is just using the Git protocol, the Git command line tool in when executing API-CTL commands. So it should be possible. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions or comment that you want to share with us?
So on the CI/CD YAML part, right? So Git YAML file, is it the simple YAML file or is it the automated one for once you export from the dev environment and you push it to the production, right? Prod environment. So there's automated YAML, Git YAML file, right? So how complex is that?
So I think you are you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So so there are several YAML files inside. If you export an API, there are several configuration files. So one is the API definition, which is the Swagger file, and there's another file called API.yaml. I think you are referring that one, right?
No, the
No.
CI/CD YAML file.
You mean the exported YAML file,
No,
right?
no. The automated script will run, right? So when you export from the dev environment to the GitHub and you got
You
an
mean
automate.
Swagger definition file, this file, right?
No, I'm not able to see a screen. It's not sharing. Yeah.
Hasunie, can you share the screen? I think let's go through the file system and see. Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I think you mentioned this file, right?
Not
Swagger YAML
this
file.
one. No, not this one. CI/CD YAML file.
There is so we don't have YAML file which has this CICD with the name as CICD YAML. I'm not sure. So are you referring to a kind of CICD script? So like
Yes, yeah. Script one. Yeah.
Okay, so it actually depends on the platform you are using. So so in this context, we are not we are not auto-generating any kind of script. So what we have to do is so maybe you are using Jenkins or some GitHub
GitLab.
workflow, GitLab or
Yeah.
GitLab. Okay. So is there so I'm not familiar with GitLab. So is there any kind of CI/CD inbuilt with GitLab? So is that the CI/CD script that is used by GitLab?
Yeah. So there's a GitLab YAML file.
Okay. So if you are using GitLab, I think there are so if you are using GitLab in itself for the CI/CD process, we need to have some sort of a way to run the API CTL from this GitLab. So maybe we will have to install API controller inside the GitLab CICD environment. So if it is possible, so what you have to do is write the shell script which can execute the API controller command. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah. So it makes sense. And the last question, in
Okay.
case of HA mode, right? In case of HA mode, how do you push it to the production? Is it possible to push it to the production in HA mode? So 2 API managers in HA mode.
Yes, it is possible. So actually, if you push it, so even if it is a HA mode, so if you put that to one API manager node, it will be automatically synced to the other one because both are sharing the same database, and also the API that runtime configurations will be also shared between the two nodes. So you only need to push it to a single API manager node, and then it will be shared. So you don't need to do it 2 times.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, if there aren't any more questions, shall we wrap up? Hasunie? Okay, great. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope you'll, yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
I can, because of my internet connection, there was a problem. Now I can share my screen and show you deployment of our dev environment APIs to the production environment. Actually, you can see all the customer data, flight data, and flight reservation APIs are imported to the production environment. I use the API CTL VCS deploy -e prod environment. This is the name of the production environment, and I give the API CTL VCS deploy -e and the production environment name. This is the logs we got by executing this command. Once we log into the production environment, you can see this is the production environment URL. You can see our customer data, flight data, and API products are successfully deployed to the production environment. Actually, this is the end of the demonstration session. We had a open discussion session. As time is running out, I think we can wrap it up. So thank you everyone for participating in our 30th community call today. Actually, this call is recorded and we will be putting up on YouTube channel soon. Our next community call will be scheduled on 20th August. If you have any topic suggestions for the next session, please submit your suggestions through the community call page. And also feel free to send your suggestions for the agenda. We are happy to consider them as well. And also you can also join our ongoing conversations on WSO2 API Manager using Slack, Twitter, and Dev mailing list. You can find more about our product by visiting our website and our YouTube channel as well. So thank you very much.